spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool. You know what cool is? You're looking at it. Nothing beats being cool.
Hello everyone, we are here on the 4th episode.
Live.
And not in color, because we're a podcast.
It's very monochrome in here.
So, we are here to talk about John Cena being stabbed by Jesus.
Hell yeah. I'm Tom, by the way.
That's Tom. I'm Corey. And before we get started, I have a lot to say, as Thad Castle would say in Blue Mountain State.
Hell yeah.
When he didn't actually have a lot to say, supposedly.
Yeah.
But
Vent it. This is a safe space.
I have a lot to say about the fact that there is one person working in my post office, and I had to wait for a half hour to get seen just to send a damn package that was like $3 to ship.
You hate to see it.
That and the fact that Tua Tagovailoa thought he would go back to school for a second. Don't be stupid. Go get your money, kid.
Yep, make that money. You already have no ankles.
Guess what? You can always go back to school. And
It's
they don't
true.
pay you to play school.
Talk to Cardale. It worked out for Cardale pretty well, though.
It did. He made his money. He never started, but he made his money.
He's going to start for the DC Defenders at the XFL, our newest sponsor. No, I'm just kidding.
That would be great. I would take an XFL jersey.
Absolutely. I'm probably going to end up buying an XFL jersey if it makes it past one season.
Yeah, I did the whole AAF
We had
shirt.
We had a fantasy league.
We had a fantasy league, and I bought the shirt, and then they folded after 7 games.
Yep, that was awful.
But back to the matter at hand, we're talking another Smackdown 2004 because this was a great time to be alive.
Thankfully, ending the story arc after this one because
after this we're going to be shifting
to something else that we'll reveal at the end of the episode. So stay tuned for that.
So we do have an Instagram now.
We do.
4 episodes in, it's Stranger Rings Pod.
Hell yeah.
On Instagram, so you can follow us there. We'll post shit about the episodes and some memes because we have a good one up right now. That's
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle when he was with the Shield.
Which was so weird, by the way, that happened.
You could tell how happy he was to do it, too.
He said, "This is the coolest I've been in like 20 years, man. I'm here for it."
Yeah, he was like the old guy that somehow gets involved in a bar fight. But he looked very happy to be there. So that's on there now. And we have some good pictures of Paul Bearer when he was in the concrete crypt.
Yes, covered by oatmeal.
There will be more stuff that will be going on there. We should have a Twitter and possibly a Facebook page at some point. We don't know when it's going to happen, but it'll happen. It should all be Stranger Rings Pod, most likely.
Yeah, eventually it's going to happen, and we're ready. But
we're ready for it. We're ready to. We're still in that that we talked about last episode, where it's one start podcast, and we're in the question mark zone, and then make profit.
Yeah.
So we're in the question marks right now. We're figuring it out.
I don't know how long it'll last, but eventually...
It depends. It just depends. Joe Rogan's was like, start podcast money. Like, there was nothing else.
True. Well, first it was just his name. That's all you needed. And then we realized, hey, this show's pretty good.
Yeah, and then he had on Arian Foster, and he talked about fighting wolves. So there's a bunch of great things that happened. So... we are going to travel back in time to October of 2004 with this story.
Great time. Boston Red Sox won the World Series, which is not a great time. Hate the Red Sox. Hate Boston sports. Sorry to go on a rant real quick, but it does actually play into the beginning of this storyline.
That's true, because they hadn't won the World Series, I guess, at this point, at least at the beginning.
They're in the playoffs at this point, October 7th. And that's where we're going to start here on Smackdown, which was live in Boston. See, that wasn't just a tangent.
Yeah, it was in Cena's hometown.
It was.
Well, of mean streets of West Newbury, Massachusetts.
He was a thug on the streets of West Newbury. Just keep that in mind. There are 2 words, like how, what was it, doing the right thing, gutter slut, and what was the... Yeah, I just had to drop that
gutter
casually.
Slut and,
I'm not the one that said it.
Kurt Angle said it.
But that, and then from last episode, a lot about lying and being honest.
I lied. Yes.
I lied. Like, those are the 3, like, the buzzwords. SmackDown loved buzzwords at this time for each storyline, because the 2 here are thug and cool.
True, yeah.
Thugs aren't cool, according to Carlito.
No, he spits in their face.
He does.
Except for his own bodyguard.
Yeah.
But he did spit in his face at one point, but we'll cover that later.
Yeah, he did.
So, yeah, this starts back before Carlito had debuted, there had been a month prior where they were showing him spitting in people's faces in the Caribbean.
Yep, he just takes a bite of apple and then right in their face. Carlito is to brief it, he's a... Everybody knows who John Cena is, so we don't have to describe it because...
Even if you can't see him, but you know who he is.
Exactly. Carlito is a son of Puerto Rican wrestling legend Carlos Colon. He is a Afro gentleman with who likes to spit apple in people's faces because they're not cool.
Yes, and he wore a bunch of like Hawaiian-looking T-shirts and all that good stuff.
I wrote a lot about his shirts in here.
Yeah, there was some, especially the fashion choices in where they announced that Cena was stabbed.
Yeah,
like RVD was wearing like a button-up shirt with a dragon on it, and there's like.
I'm pretty sure I wrote about that too.
Okay, yeah, well, we're going to cover that at some point here, but yeah, everything starts on the October 7th, 2004 Smackdown, and this is just after Cena had defeated Booker T in the Best of 5 series to regain the U.S. title.
That's it's a storyline that happened.
Yeah, a Best of 5 is a good little storyline to randomly do.
It's a weird, and it makes sense because Booker got famous as a singles competitor in the Best of 7 series. He had Benoit in WCW, so it was a good way to put Cena over. So he comes out, he's a U.S. champion now officially.
Yes, he is. He opens the show, right?
Because he does.
It is in his hometown.
Yeah,
so.
And Jesus Christ, it's so weird to hear everybody like Cena, because normally it's the Let's Go Cena, Cena sucks. Everybody loves John Cena in this.
Yes, everybody. He got a lot of consistently big pops throughout the storyline, even though he wasn't on TV a lot for it.
Right.
So, he comes out and he's, talking about Boston, how happy he is to be the champion, and then you hear that somebody spits in the face of people who don't like to be cool.
Carlito, and I'll just say right now, Carlito is one of my 3 favorite wrestlers when I was a kid starting to watch were John Cena, Rey Mysterio, and Carlito. One of these things is not like the other, and unfortunately, that's Carlito. He was so cool.
He was.
He was so cool. And he didn't seem out of place during any of these promos. So he comes out and he interrupts Cena, and he makes fun of Boston. I wrote, he makes fun of Boston, and I'm here for it.
Good. Yes.
Love it.
But before this, before Cena's debut, we got to talk about now. There is nothing wrong with being homosexual, but in 2004, WWE loved to make fun of that shit.
Oh my God, Thug John Cena just loved making fun of Michael Cole and calling him gay.
Yes, Michael Cole was, in John Cena's mind, a gay man, and he was made fun of for it a bunch during the rapping segments.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Cena's Jesus Christ, raps age very poorly.
Yes, except for the Brock Lesnar one, where he says that's a nice tattoo of your mother. That was great.
There are some good lines in it, but just the gay jokes were... it's uncomfortable to look at now. I'm just sitting there and like, oh, he's making fun of... I'm not a huge fan of that, but otherwise, some of Cena's raps are very creative. There's a really good one he does on Carlito.
Yes, he talks about Michael Cole and makes fun of him and talks about how much he loves New Kids on the Block and
which was great.
All the boy bands and his haircut and whatever.
Yeah, which was great until he started making gay jokes.
Yes.
And Michael Cole was just sitting there trying to announce and be professional, and he has to deal with that. And it's like...
So, while he's making fun of Michael Cole, he says he's going to bring someone from the crowd to make fun of Michael Cole.
Oh my God, yeah, I forgot they did that.
He said it's too easy for him to do it, so he's going to let somebody from Boston do it, and that's when you get the Carlito music and spitting and however the music actually starts.
Yeah, it's just him, the sound of him spitting in somebody's face, which is just... I never thought I would see that, but...
So, Carlito comes out here, and he said that he's heard that John Cena is the coolest guy on SmackDown.
Fair. He was. He was.
But in Carlito's mind, he's not cool.
You hate to see it. Yeah, he made fun of him. He made fun of Boston, and Cena had some good lines. He said, "You look like Manny Ramirez, but you're a bigger jackass than A-Rod."
Yeah, that was a great timely Yankees Red Sox rivalry.
It was, even though Manny Ramirez was a jackass, so he could have just. But you can't make fun of the hometown hero there. No. He also told him at one point, "You in the wrong part of town, homie."
Yes, he told. He did tell. That was Cena telling Carlito that he was in the wrong part of town because Cena's got them goons around. I guess.
Apparently, which is just the undertones have not aged well either.
No,
for that.
Ridiculous.
But Carlito went at one point and was going to spit the apple in Cena's face. He started chewing the apple, and he said, you said you better check yourself. And he said you might want to spit in my face, but tonight I'm going to make you swallow.
Yeah, he has some good lines there.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice for sure.
Cena has a lot of good insults when it comes to these kind of segments as a rapper.
Yeah.
That's exactly what a rapper would say, too.
It is. It is. Like, it's just, it doesn't age really well, but back then, he got a huge pop for all this. All these, so over.
Yeah, all these things are super over, especially when he tells people shit like that, pretty much. So then Carlito is still talking to Cena, and he says it took him 5 matches to win the U.S. title, but he said that it would only take him 1 to take it off Cena.
It was a good line.
Yeah, so he is baiting Cena in here to trying to get this U.S. title match in his debut night on Smackdown, which is pretty wild. Yeah,
Cena challenged him to the match, and he wanted to have it right there, right now, like a true babyface, and Carlito said that he had to change because his clothes were too nice to wrestle in.
It's true. He had some must-be expensive clothes that no one would wear now.
Yeah, nice white shirt. So it was the main event, and he went to shake Cena's hand. Cena did "You Can't See Me," so he kicked him in the stomach and DDT'd him, and then he'd spit the apple on him. And God, that would have to be horrible to take.
Oh, the spit?
Yeah, because, you choose up the apple beforehand, it's gross.
But that's quite a way to have your first debut segment.
It was.
Laying out the U.S. champ, who's one of the top 3 most over guys on SmackDown at the time. He still hadn't ascended to being a main eventer, technically.
Right.
But, and then he spits in his face, too, which is ultra disrespectful. So it gets him really over as a heel really quick.
It does. What do you think about this? From a scale of striking out to a home run, what do you think this is?
Oh, yeah, that's a home run. It's a walk-off.
Home run. There. Say a nice double off the wall.
Okay.
I think it was solid, but...
Yes. But by the end of the night, he's super over.
He got him over.
So... In one night, they did a great job.
They did.
They should look back on this the next time somebody debuts.
They really should. Do you want to go over the Carlito's first backstage interview, which was pretty? I liked it.
Yeah, Josh Matthews just looks like a small child at this point in SmackDown. I love watching these 15-year-old things because you see all the trends, how these people are dressing.
Yeah.
Josh Matthews has his frosted tips, looking like he's in the Backstreet Boys. He's ready to go.
He was cool as fuck back then.
Yeah, he was 25 probably. Yeah. And he got his earrings in. He's with the times.
I always forget that he was on Tough Enough, training to be a wrestler. It's so strange. He's this tiny guy. He doesn't look imposing. His voice is real high. So God bless him.
And
he's made a career out of it.
Who's he married to today?
Madison Rayne.
Madison Rayne. Yes. So good for him.
Yeah.
So he turned a failed wrestling career into a very good career for himself.
He's still
good for him, yeah.
How many guys from Tough Enough are still in the business?
Yeah, really. It's him. Well, he was first season, I believe, too. So it's him and Morrison
and Miz.
Well, yeah, Miz.
Because even Ryback's out of it at this point.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that. Well, was Dolph Ziggler on it?
No.
Okay, never mind.
But from that first season, of course the other seasons, later ones, there's still people, but from those seasons, there's not a lot. So good for Josh.
Yeah, John Morrison, Josh Matthews, and Miz from those first couple seasons that they have made it that far.
I miss Maven, man.
Maven, yes, Maven.
We will do some stuff on Maven later.
Yeah, at some point Maven will get in here because in Survivor Series 04, which we cover the SmackDown portion of this, that man takes a wicked chair shot.
He does.
So, but the Carlito interview, he makes sure Josh Matthews realizes he's not cool. And then he makes fun of his haircut and his fake tan.
Loved it.
Which were just ridiculous. And then he says he's going to win the U.S. title, pretty much.
Solid stuff.
So there's his second segment. This is really the Carlito show.
Yeah.
SmackDown's 2 hours long. He already has 2 segments within the first hour. Mm-hmm. And then he gets to main event the show.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good way to push a new heel. I really enjoyed it. So, do we want to get to speaking of things that I didn't enjoy?
The match.
The match. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Take the match.
I'm
over
sorry.
Here.
So I loved the beginning of it, where Cena took control immediately. Like there was no back and forth. He had some nice moves in his repertoire back then.
He did. He hit the sidewalk slam.
Yeah, where he flexed with the one arm. Like I loved that. The stalling suplex was good. Even his weird he shuffled over and hit a leg drop.
Yeah. I saw that part, and he did hit a very. He jumped very high on the shoulder block. He only did one of them though.
Yeah,
he didn't run back and get another one.
He had more than 5 moves that he did during his comeback, and I love that Cena was stiff too. Like he was really stiff back then, which I didn't realize. Like he was hitting Lito pretty hard.
Well, he had the ruthless aggression.
He did.
So he said, I got to be safe after 06.
Yeah, dude.
But Cena's 24 this time, so he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, he was young as hell, and he looks so much younger too.
He does.
Now.
I think it took him very long to age. Until 2012, I feel like he looked the same.
Right.
And then now you see him, and he's got longer hair, and
because he's got the bald spot in the back. It's like, dude, just shave your head. It's fine.
Yeah, but now he's going to be on Fast and Furious, so who's the real?
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, he's taking over because The Rock's on the next one.
Oh wow.
It's better than Justin Bieber, who was their first choice when Paul Walker died.
I did not know that. Yeah. I don't like that.
They wanted Justin Bieber to be in it. Everybody pretty much said they wouldn't see the movie, so then they went and got The Rock.
Now, would Justin Bieber would have redirected the torpedo with his bare hands like The Rock did?
No, he wouldn't have.
Because I would have paid to see that.
I'm waiting for, since John Cena's beaten The Rock, maybe he'll be able to pick up the torpedo and throw it like a javelin at a helicopter or something. But, Fast and Furious. This is great. It gets more unrealistic as it goes.
Yeah, I love it.
And if one person from any movie could be in WWE, I think I'd take Vin Diesel. He'd be a great WWE.
He would. I could see Vin Diesel transitioning pretty well, as a character.
Oh, yeah.
He could just headbutt people, too.
Okay, so this is a little bit off topic, but I was thinking about this earlier. If there's 2 people from any sport with the personality and everything that I would take to be wrestlers right now, and it's Chad Johnson and Deion Sanders.
Really?
Those are 2 great characters. As characters though. Primetime is a great character.
True.
And Chad Johnson, he's just
insane.
Ridiculous.
I love Chad Johnson.
And Antonio Brown. He could be a crazy heel.
Oh god. JJ Watt would be great actually.
Oh, JJ Watt would be scary.
Very charismatic, very athletic. But back to this match. Carlito took control for about 30 seconds, and then Cena slingshotted him over the barricade onto the concrete.
Beautiful.
It was great. And Carlito took that bump, man. Good for him, because then when Carlito took control, he had a nice slingshot elbow, but I feel like it just kind of slowed down after that, because they put the sleeper hold on. And
yeah, he has to be the methodical heel.
Yeah. Let him do what's wrong with a heel doing high-flying stuff? I've never understood that, where you have to do all boring shit if you're a heel.
Well, maybe he just didn't want to get put into the cruiserweight division at that point. So he's like, I got to act like I'm really big.
That's true.
Let me get the bear hug on this guy or something.
That's true. Didn't think about that one. I wrote this is a glorified squash match because Cena just beats the fuck out of him for most of it.
He does. And we'll see the king of all squash matches at the end of this.
We will. But I think I wouldn't have had an issue if this wasn't 17 minutes. Yeah,
it went pretty long, especially on Smackdown, which is recorded at the time. So,
right.
You think they might have cut it down a little bit if they could have.
Trimmed it. But I think overall, the match quality wasn't the best, but it got over what needed to get over. So I think it trumps that, because the ending where Carlito grabs the U.S. title, brings it to the ring, and then Cena takes it off of him, right?
Yes, Cena gets the belt off of Carlito.
Yeah, he rips it from him. He's going to hit Carlito with it, and the ref pulls it away. Ref's back is turned. Carlito grabs John Cena's chain and bashes him over the head with it and pins him 1-2-3 for the U.S. title in his first match.
His debut match, the first night he's ever on WWE TV. He wins the U.S. title. He steals Cena's chain.
He got some heat for it, too.
It's in Cena's hometown,
yeah.
So anybody in their hometown, you can't win.
No,
just ask JR.
Poor JR.
Didn't he get his ass beat by Triple H, bloody as fuck?
Stone Cold did that one in Oklahoma City. He just destroyed this.
I remember that
Triple H probably did.
JR lost it. Well, he beat Triple H, but it was because Batista came in and and like beat the shit out of him, but he was like bloody as shit, like all messed up.
JR knows how to blade, man.
Poor JR.
It was just his barbecue sauce he just poured it on his head when nobody was looking.
It tastes good. It tastes great. But so yeah, he is the U.S. champion now, and later that night, Cena's life takes a turn for the worst. In one night, in one night, they hated each other this much. Just think about that. So between this SmackDown and the October 14th SmackDown, it's announced on Raw that Cena has been attacked in a nightclub.
Yep, not a nightclub.
An after-hours club.
An after-hours
club. Which makes it sound like a Robert Kraft spa. And I don't like that, so I'm going to say he was in the nightclub.
Yeah, he was in the club.
So like a game of Clue is going to happen here over the next month or so with Teddy Long, who's just trying to piece this shit together, which is great.
Find out who was attacked. So the beginning of the October 14th Raw, they hold a locker room meeting.
Yes, the show opens with a locker room meeting, and this is where the Thad Castle thing comes in again. We're going to have a lot to say about this meeting here.
We are.
So Teddy Long comes in. He says, "All right, playa, John Cena was stabbed." No, he wasn't stabbed. He suffered multiple puncture wounds near his kidney. Yeah,
one of his kidneys, and the fact that he was fighting hard every day to save his kidney. These SmackDown storylines escalate so quickly. They go from like a really solid start to like, all right, what outlandish shit can we do?
So John Cena, we are led to believe, is fighting for his life in Boston at some hospital.
Yep.
Well, not fighting for his life, just for his kidney, even though he was stabbed multiple times. So they're trying to save his kidney, and the locker room's like, oh shit, they're all like, whatever. But then he's like, we're going to have a battle royal to determine the number one contender, so everything's okay again. They forget about John Cena.
Because John Cena said himself, according to Teddy Long, that the show must go on.
He didn't say, I'm going to kill the bastard that stabbed me. He said, make sure that somebody's the number one contender.
Which is a great babyface thing to do. And to keep in, by the way, the reason that they did this was because John Cena had to go and film The Marine, which is a great movie and started a tremendous film franchise.
The first Marine is not bad.
It really is.
I don't think it's that bad.
No, I like it. It was a good movie.
It has very bad reviews, I believe, on like Rotten Tomatoes, which I don't believe those half the time, because The Benchwarmers has like 7%, and that's a fucking hilarious movie. So, fuck you, Rotten Tomatoes. I just want you to know that.
Damn.
But
tell us how you
the first Marine was good. I haven't seen any of the other ones.
I haven't either.
Because they started putting like...
those,
Who was the second Marine? Wasn't it Ted DiBiase?
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, that's where it went down. Like at least The Miz, you're like, okay, he could probably act a little bit. But Ted DiBiase was just random.
Spoiler alert: they killed him off in the last one. They had Shawn Michaels and Becky Lynch played a heel, and I think Becky Lynch killed him.
Killed The Miz.
Yeah.
What? Now I have to watch all of these.
The Marine 6.
Is it really 6?
Yeah.
Oh Jesus! I thought there was like 4.
No, there's 6.
Oh God. At least Triple H was in The Marine. He got to be the chaperone.
Great film. Not really. He was good. He was good in it by comparison.
Yeah, that's what they did. It's like the Mel Gibson thing where you find a bunch of short actors to make them look really big and tall. So they just find really bad actors to make Triple H look good.
That sounds about right.
But the best WWE movie is The Call with Halle Berry, where she's a dispatcher. That was fucking wild.
I thought you were going to say The Condemned, because I fucking love The Condemned.
You've never seen The Condemned?
You've never... No. We might have to do a review of it on here.
I've never seen that. I've seen The Chaperone. I've seen the Marine one, and I've seen The Call.
I've seen the first two. I've not seen The Call. Heard it was good. We're gonna watch.
Well, Halle Berry was in it, so it can't be super bad.
Right.
Like she's like a really good actress. So, so Cena's stabbed, but he's actually filming a movie. So, but poor me, when I was 9 years old, thought that he was gonna die.
In the club. But now we got to go to the best part of this. We have a lot to say about this locker room meeting. The things that these men were wearing.
Oh, I have a lot to say. We already talked about RVD wearing a button-up, like, dragon shirt, which was just ridiculous, and slacks. Like, he was wearing, like, nice slacks with it.
This was the time of the dress code. So they had to dress kind of nice.
So Eddie's wearing something else ridiculous.
His fucking shirt. It looked like a mural. Like a really badly done mural or a lampshade they spilled paint on.
But the worst of all, I think, might be Rey Mysterio in mask wearing like a fucking all black suit.
He looked like a secret agent. Like
he was just, and Carlito's just standing there. I think with the unbuttoned shirt, like he's just fucking bare chested
with the chain on. I think
with the Cena chain and the title, and it's just ridiculous. And there was like the women wrestlers were in this meeting, and he's like, "We're gonna have a battle royal," and they're like cheering for it, like they're gonna be in it. But Teddy Long's not putting them in it.
No.
So I don't know what was happening. And then Eddie Guerrero just is standing next to Carlito, and like every time he's like, "We're gonna have the battle royal," and he's like, "Me and you, SA, me and you." Like
he stole the show. Like I also wrote like he stared Carlito down the entire time when he was talking about like Cena getting stabbed. It was just Eddie staring daggers at Carlito. Like,
it was like he knew. Yeah, he was
in
like, I was in the club too.
But Carlito, after the locker room dispersed, Carlito turned around and he said, John Cena's a thug, and he pretty much rolls with thugs. Sooner or later, this was bound to happen.
And that's not cool.
It's not cool.
So, so that's a real good way to make yourself a suspect real quick.
It is.
I work in the news industry right now, and what I've heard from many lawyers is you don't say anything.
Yeah.
So that would be the easiest way if you were a suspect, is just to shut your fucking mouth.
Yeah, just don't do anything. Maybe.
So Carlito should have learned from should have had a lawyer present.
He should have. He talks about his lawyer.
Well, it could have been Ed, or it could have been Ray, since he was in his suit.
True.
But,
True.
So then, I don't think Carlito does really anything else on that SmackDown, does he?
He wrestles and beats Rey Mysterio, but I didn't watch the match.
I did not watch it either, yeah.
I
was just going to all the parts where it
the storyline was progressing.
So then we would have to move to the next SmackDown.
The October 21st?
Yes, the October 21st SmackDown, where Teddy Long is on the case.
He is.
Private investigator Teddy Long. he says, he goes up to Carlito and he questions him, and he says, "Carlito, were you at the club?" And he was like, "Yes, I was at the club." So he's digging himself a bigger hole. It's like playing Clue. Teddy Long's like, it was Carlito in the nightclub with a knife. Like, he could try to finish it. But there's a twist, so he wouldn't be right if that was his guess.
It's true.
So, Carlito's bodyguard has yet to debut at this point.
Yeah, that's next week. Not his bodyguard, his associate.
His associate. His associo, I think is what he said.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he started speaking in Spanish randomly. I might have said some wrong Spanish word. I don't even.
It's okay.
But authorities told Teddy Long, who has been in touch with the police in Boston, I guess, that Carlito was in the club the night that happened.
And Carlito tried to deny it. He said, there are thugs at that club, and thugs aren't cool. He's right. To be fair, Carlito is a pretty good role model, other than the spitting in people's faces.
Yes, he said, we shouldn't be at the club.
Yeah, you should be at home. Eating apples and shit.
Reading the Bible.
Reading the Bible.
Whatever Carlito would do.
God. So yeah, Carlito immediately says, like, I won't be talking anymore until I have my lawyer present. So he lawyered up finally.
He should have learned that the week before.
Yeah.
But, so that's pretty much, I think, the only thing that really happened storyline-wise.
Yeah. They're slowly building it along. They're planting seeds, which if it wasn't... Now, to think... They could have probably just did something where they put Cena out with an injury angle, like they do one of the, like an old school, like throw a fireball in his face, or like injure his throat so he can't speak, or do something like that.
Or just, I don't know.
Pile driver on the concrete.
Yeah, something.
And not, he got knifed in a nightclub, and oh god.
Yeah, it was
his kidneys are failing.
He got shanked, so... Yeah.
I love it, though. I'm so glad they did it like this.
I would like some storytelling like this in any wrestling promotion nowadays.
There needs to be more whodunits like Mr. McMahon's getting blown up.
Like in TNA at one point, Samoa Joe had kidnapped Scott Steiner and hung him upside down or something. You remember that?
Yeah.
Shit? Yeah, so there was some wild shit that used to happen here.
Holy shit.
But
Pro wrestling.
So that SmackDown is really all Carlito does. So we move on to the October 28th SmackDown, which is the debut of one of the greatest associates in pro wrestling history, Jesus. Or Jesus in Spanish.
Yeah, which is what he's referred to as, sadly.
He's referred to as Jesus. He was, a little background on Jesus, his name is really...
Aaron Aguilera.
Yeah, Aaron Aguilera. He was a conquistador.
He was.
And that's pretty much, I think, where his story ends.
He's a veteran of the California independent scene, and that's all I think he's in development for a while.
I think I read something he became the Zodiac or something somewhere. Maybe in like Mexico or somewhere random.
It's a better storyline.
But it doesn't, Yeah, he never really made any more TV appearances after
Right.
this. So he comes in here and he's just randomly backstage with Carlito.
Yep.
Which is great. I'm gonna let you take this one because Jesus is debuting here. It's the second coming.
So Carlito's backstage with Josh Matthews, and Jesus appears, and he is this tall Puerto Rican man who is wearing yellow suspenders and like canary yellow suspenders and canary yellow pants.
Now, when I hear the name Jesus, this is what I am picture in my head.
Like,
my Lord and Savior.
Like he's not he's not dressed cool like Carlito is. Like he should be like, imagine him wearing like a Hawaiian shirt and like those white pants or whatever that Carlito is wearing. Then okay, that would make some more sense. Or maybe he's just wearing the wife beater like he's got underneath and like jeans and he's just flexing. Like okay.
Or a lot of bodyguards wear just like a suit.
Yeah. Anything other than canary yellow pants with suspenders. You look like a fool. How am I supposed to be scared by him? I don't care how big he is. He's looking like fucking Big Bird.
He was he was like a pretty big guy though.
He was.
Like he was imposing, but like yeah, I don't know why you would make him wear something that he looked like a jacked 1930s Larry King. Like I don't know what to explain it as. Like, I don't know.
So Carlito still has the chain on for Cena, which is great continuity. I love that. And Cena doesn't get the chain back until after Armageddon, right?
Yeah, and that's the OG chain. I don't know why he stopped wearing that one.
You should have kept it.
Yes, you should have.
So Jesus, immediately Josh Matthews tries to question Carlito if the rumors are true, and Jesus picks. This was impressive. He picked Josh Matthews up and pinned him against the wall, but like he picked him up like over his head and slammed him.
Oh yeah, he was up there.
Yeah, like I was highly impressed by it. And Carlito got him to calm down, and he was still like restraining Josh Matthews. And Carlito revealed that he was indeed at the club that night, and the plot thickened.
Well, he was there, so now the clue game is getting even deeper. Teddy Long's watching this, and he's making. He's got like the murder board in the TV shows, and he's drawing the lines. He's ready to go.
I would have paid to see Teddy Long as a private investigator on a WWE-related reality TV show.
They should have had him doing the whole board though, with like the lines to like the suspects,
just crossing people out.
Well, I'm going to get to the end of this.
They should have started revealing like who stabbed Cena. Like it could have been Carlito. Like put Booker T on there because he was feuding. Fucking Rene Dupree and Kenzo Suzuki because they feuded. Yeah. You put RVD on there like because
those two
they
men
feuded.
Were tag team champions.
They were at the time. So. Billy Kidman because he was busy hitting people with shooting star presses and destroying their insides.
Yeah, like, he could have jumped on the bar and gave him the shooter on his kidney.
Yep, and it would have been all over. So. Carlito was at the club that night. Cena showed up and was acting like a thug, upset a lot of people. But Carlito left when Cena showed up because he knew things were gonna go down.
And speaking of this, the melee that started.
The melee, yes, he said it was melee.
We didn't address that, and we had a lot to say about that segment.
True.
Instead of melee, he said melee or melee or whatever the fuck he said.
The melee at the After Hours Club.
That must be the way that Vince McMahon pronounced it. He was like, so there was a melee. He's like, no, Teddy, damn it was a melee. Like, I don't know.
Get a dictionary. Like, so, anyway, Carlito says the thugs aren't cool, which is iconic. Thugs aren't cool. He should have got a T-shirt with that on there. And
he
Cena's
repeats
face
it
crossed out.
many times.
Thugs aren't cool, just like you. And then Jesus held Josh Matthews' arms behind his back as Carlito spit in his face. And because of the positioning, Carlito not only spit in Josh Matthews' face, but he spit right in Jesus' face as well, because Jesus is much taller.
Jesus no-sold it.
He did. He just pretended like it didn't happen. It was, every single time, it's such a great gimmick. I love it so much. It's gross, but like it's such an asshole thing to do that you get over as a heel because of it.
Yes, it's very disrespectful. And just going back to Jesus debuting here, he is a big dude. He's 6'6", 250 is what he's listed as.
Yeah, and I think they said he was 265. Was they upped his thing a bit, but he's big, but he's not imposing.
No, but according to his Wikipedia, he was trained by Daniel Bryan.
Oh, really?
Part of it, yeah. El Jefe, Superboy, Tom Howard, and UPW also helped train him.
Oh, okay. So he came up with Samoa Joe and Cena and all them then.
Yes,
Christopher Daniels.
So according to this, he was on WWE Wrestling Society X and All Japan Pro Wrestling as Zodiac in Lucha Libre USA.
Oh, I forgot that was a promotion.
Lujo Esquire.
Love it.
I don't know. But still alive. Doing good. He's 42.
Good.
It is not his birthday, or I would have said happy
So if
birthday.
he's 42 now, this was...
He was born in 77.
This was 15 years ago? So he was young.
He's mid-20s.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a bunch of young blood in SmackDown here.
Love it. They had, like, Luther Reigns.
Yeah, he's Roman's dad.
They are relatives.
Yeah, he's part of the Samoan clan. It's
true. I believe it. So, like, the November 4th SmackDown, there's really not a whole... I mean, you covered the 4th and the 11th. I didn't watch any of it.
Okay, so...
I know what happens, but I didn't watch it.
They're building towards Survivor Series 04, which is one of my favorite pay-per-views ever, just because I think it was one of the first DVDs I got as a kid of wrestling. And it was... So, Eddie had assembled his team. Carlito had joined Kurt Angle's team. And... he said that he was going to have Ray, RVD, and Big Show. But then you get the bad news that Ray is booked in a fatal 4-way for the Cruiserweight title.
Oh, no.
So Teddy Long breaks it to him that Eddie needs a different person. And Eddie's like, I'm happy for him, but he should be on my team. We are the Familia, whatever. Yeah. And then he goes, well, you got 1 week. You got to find another man. So that's pretty much all that happened on November 4th regarding them. So on November 11th, you see backstage Big Show, Eddie, and RVD. And RVD is helping Big Show stretch out his shoulder randomly when they turn to it. He's like, oh, you feel that there? Yeah, and whatever.
Love that.
So Eddie and RVD face off against members, I believe it's Luther Reigns and Jindrak or somebody.
The fearsome twosome.
And so Eddie, they said... he's nervous, and he's like, RVD's like, Eddie, are you okay? You left a message for him, don't worry. But they never say who it is until after the match. And of course it's John Cena, because Carlito was the last. At this point it's basic economics.
Oh, damn.
So Carlito was named the 4th man for Angle. So of course Eddie calls John Cena at his hospital where he's fighting for his kidney.
Yeah. And
he's like, yeah, I'll be fine next week. It's all right.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll be fine in 3 days because it was Thursday.
I mean, he's had about a month to heal, so his kidney... he must have battled pretty strong for his kidney to stay alive. Not only that, but he's ready to go.
And I've never been stabbed, but I feel like it takes a while to recover.
Right.
Especially by a vital organ.
Several puncture wounds.
It wasn't one. It was like a prison stabbing where he just kept hitting them.
God.
So, November 11th, then they announced that Cena has accepted to be the partner, and Carlito goes and complains to Teddy Long. And he's like, you can't let this happen, whatever. And Teddy says, well, Jesus was there. The authorities told me.
Oh, no.
And the authorities also told Teddy Long that Jesus has a shady past.
God.
Dun, dun, dun.
Lord.
That's the turning point. He has the shady past. And then we move to Survivor Series.
I only watched this part of Survivor Series. Yeah. I didn't... So, I did see Cena come out with that badass entrance.
Yeah, he was wearing the Jim Brown jersey. They were in Cleveland.
I hated that, to be honest.
But I thought he would keep it on, like when he was fighting them, so you wouldn't get to see the puncture wounds. But he's just fine. He doesn't even have a Band-Aid.
No, he's totally good, and he throws it off immediately. No rap, no nothing. Like, he's just good to go.
No, you would have thought that somebody like I think Bruce Pritchard was like the head of Smackdown Creative, and he would have been like, God damn it, tape him up.
Yeah, that's all you have to do. Just throw some tape on him. He's good to go.
But no, instead he comes out. He gets a huge pop. Yeah. And then he runs in and attacks Jesus.
Yeah. Carlito looked like he saw a ghost, meanwhile.
Yes, Carlito had a great cut, too, where he was like, oh.
Yeah, he's alive, even though you knew he was coming, but it's okay.
So there's the chase ensues.
Oh, it was great, because Cena stiffed Jesus, which is a running theme here. He just beats the fuck out of this poor man.
He does. It's glorious and bad at the same time.
Yeah, I love it. All about it.
So he chases him out of the ring. The bell never rings. They fight to the parking lot, And he's like, you want to bring your boy at me? You want to stab me?
I'm so glad, because I wrote that down, too. You want to stab me. Like, it was... God.
So he's fighting him off. Jesus doesn't get any offense. But he's being a human shield for Carlito, who rips a woman out of a car in the backstage. A man and a woman are ripped out of a car, and you hear her scream. And then him and Jesus get in. Cena's trying to Goldberg his way through
that's what I wrote. Almost Goldberg's himself. I'm so glad that we were on the same wavelength for this.
Cena tries to punch through the fucking window, but he can't get through, so they speed off and leave it to be a 3-on-4.
So they commit grand larceny.
Yes, they steal this woman's car and just leave.
I love that. But he's not a thug, though.
No, he's not. He's cool.
He's doing thuggish things like stealing cars.
Hanging out with Jesus, who has a shady past.
He's an associate. Not a friend, not a bodyguard, an associate. So to the November 18th Smackdown, Cena comes out, gets a huge fucking pop immediately to start the show. Again, I see why they were building him for the world title, because he's consistently getting a ridiculous reaction. So then Cena started, he said, and I quote, talking about Jesus, "This dude is man enough to see that I'm taken care of in a nightclub."
Yes.
It's a direct quote. Taken care of in a nightclub is probably not something it's something he could have thought of, because the way he delivered it sounded like, oh, I'm being taken care of in a nightclub.
Yeah. So
love that. Very funny.
He also tells everybody he's going to win back the U.S. title.
True.
Which is good.
And he cut the heel not the heel promo, but he cut the rap on him for a little bit.
Yes, he had the rap, and I forget what he said, and I didn't write it down. Oh, he's ready.
He said, I'm just going to read the highlights, but he said that he's about to put a whooping on the Pillsbury Fro Boy.
I like it.
Which was a good one. He also said that Carlito looked like a chia pet.
He does kind of look like a chia pet.
Yeah, his hair is chia-like. It's true. And he ended the rap with saying that Payback is a bitch.
He did.
And it was a great promo where he was like taking it. He made fun of him, but then you get serious again.
Did you catch the sign?
No.
That was in the crowd as they cut to the next segment?
No.
There was a sign randomly that just said, "Eminem stabbed Cena." Randomly in the crowd, and at the end of this, we'll have to discuss how this is technically an open case. I don't think it's ever really been fully solved.
I wish that Cena would have referenced this later in his career, just brought it up, hey, this happened.
Teddy Long is going to hear this podcast, and he's going to be like, "I said I wouldn't do it," and then he's going to open this little office in his house, and he's going to have everything on the board ready to go.
It's been 15
his one more
years.
job.
So we get backstage with Carlito, and he had suffered an injury allegedly, and this was a real injury, wasn't it?
Yes,
to
it
his
was
shoulder?
some kind of real shoulder injury. I don't know where he hurt himself.
Probably a house show, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it had to have been something like that, but he actually was injured because I believe, according to Bruce Pritchard's podcast, this was supposed to run longer, and Cena and him would have had more matches, but
right.
Carlito, I believe, had surgery or had to go through physical therapy or some kind of...
It's disappointing.
Yeah, he was a very, very over heel at this point, and the injury bugged on him. So.
And he said that because they're having the U.S. title match that night, that he needs to postpone the match 4 to 6 weeks, closer to 6.
Yeah, Jesus is I think closer to 6.
Yeah,
he just asserts himself in there. He's 6 would probably be good.
Fucking love it.
Jesus wasn't a bad character.
No.
I really don't think he was. He was kind of funny.
He was wearing, at this point, oh my god, I think I forgot to write down some of the things that he was wearing. At Survivor Series, he wore red pants and suspenders. In this one, he wore... Oh gosh, let me find it. Oh, bright green suspenders and pants, neon green.
Yes.
So, Teddy Long told Carlito that he's talked to Carlito's doctors and seen his X-rays, and he is injured. This is real. He's actually hurt.
You are hurt, Carlito.
But if he'll let Cena compete 6 weeks after he was stabbed, that Carlito can wrestle. So it's not only am I being negligent by letting John Cena wrestle, despite the fact that he was stabbed in the kidney and almost lost it, but you're hurt as well. Too fucking bad. I'm not postponing the match.
You're both hurt.
Yep,
it's even now.
I love the negligence.
That and the next thing that that Teddy Long says...
Because Carlito started yelling at him in
It's
Spanish.
fucking iconic.
Yes. Carlito was yelling at him in Spanish, and Teddy Long cut his ass off.
And he said... This is what Teddy Long said to Carlito.
A direct quote.
This is a quote. This is not me saying this. He said, Carlito, if you ain't speaking Ebonics, I can't understand you. Which is just the most ridiculous line that he just decided to throw in there.
Who wrote that shit? Who wrote it?
That's what I mean. Like, Vince McMahon was like, say something like that.
God.
Like, I don't get why he randomly said that. But that was just ridiculous.
I couldn't...
It was so out of place, too.
Yeah.
There was no reason for it to be in the promo.
God. Teddy Long as a GM I think he might be the best ever.
Yeah, I agree.
Legendary.
He did so many wonderful things for the tag division.
He did. Teddy Long is underappreciated. That tag team match, man. So then he told Carlito to, quote, get to stepping. So he got to stepping. I also wrote that we're getting to the match, the U.S. title, where Michael Cole said it would be a big fight atmosphere.
Okay. Okay, Mike.
I don't know about that, Big Mike. So I wrote, I love Carlito's shirts, because all of his Hawaiian shirts that are just wide open, like, he looks very comfortable. I would like to buy some of his shirts. Yeah, like, he's playing the character well. So Cena and Carlito, this is the match. He's going to get his revenge. Cena stiffs Jesus immediately with a lariat. Like, fucking strong style John Cena kills him.
Yep, and then he just started beating the hell out of Carlito.
Oh my god, then he got a chair, he put Carlito's shoulder against the post, smashed the shoulder against it, like, Carlito's down, he's screaming. They do a great job for Cena to get get his heat back.
He also spits the apple at Carlito. And then he pretty much beats him in less than a minute once they get in the ring.
Gives him the FU, U.S. title, big pop. Bye-bye Carlito's character after that, which sucks, because there's not much you can do with that if he is injured. But
then the big twist happens at the end.
Yes.
Where Jesus comes back with a vengeance.
He does. He works the shit out of John Cena's kidney with, like, kidney punches, just straight to the kidney.
And he grabs the chain, too. And he hits him in the kidney. Yep,
and he drags Carlito out. There was no tape or anything on the kidney still, unprotected, and Cena he was down on the ground. They brought all, like, the referees and officials out, and they actually stretchered him off, which I thought was a pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't actually know that happened. So
Me
I was
neither.
kind of taken, like, I didn't realize that was going to happen. So at some point, Cena is now re-injured his kidney here from this attack, but he's going to have to. He's the champion now, so he has to persevere and fight for his life again.
And by doing that, he misses the next 3 weeks of Smackdown. So Carlito is left to carry it on his own, cutting promos. Carlito, and of course, our Lord and Savior, Jesus. So we're going to get to the November 25th Smackdown. If you want to take this one off now.
I'll get this. So Carlito and Jesus are talking about Cena backstage. Hold on, my damn iCloud likes to pop up like every 5 seconds here. Okay, thanks, Apple, for ruining that 5 seconds of my life. I'm not going to get back. So, Carlito and Jesus are talking about Cena, and Carlito blames Cena for the injury, which is probably, I don't know.
Victim blaming. Yes. Don't like that.
I don't know if they were fighting at the house shows. I take it they weren't because Cena was stabbed. So, Carlito and Jesus still have the chain.
They do.
They got the chain with the lock on it. And he gifts the chain to Jesus and says that since he beat shit out of his kidney last week, that he deserves the chain.
Love it.
And he hangs it on Jesus.
Who's happy as hell.
Yes, Jesus is very happy. And I think this might be like the first real time he has any promo time.
Yeah, and he was... When we want to get to the not imposing thing... He's wearing his bright orange pants and black suspenders. He looks like a pumpkin. He looks like a pumpkin. His voice, he's talking about. He said, "I'm a thug too."
Yeah.
He sounds like Chris Jericho. His voice, like, he sounds just like Chris Jericho.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you look like a badass otherwise, but you sound like somebody's like 50-year-old neighbor.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. When I heard it, I didn't know who he sounded like. But I was like, wow, this guy doesn't sound like he's gonna beat somebody up, or that he's a thug.
Yeah, which he claims. He said, "I'm a thug too."
But Cole alleges during this promo, because for some reason they can hear Cole even though they don't have like an earpiece or anything.
Yeah.
He said that Jesus attacked the same kidney that Cena was stabbed in, but how would he know which kidney it is?
Oh.
So Jesus says that he's a thug and he's going to fight Cena anywhere he wants.
It was actually a better promo than I thought it would be.
It was. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it was solid.
So Jesus did his best with his suspenders.
He did. He tried. So we get to the December 2nd Smackdown. Jesus is wearing, this is the most important thing of any of these segments, dark red suspenders and pants. He's matching this week.
Good. I'm glad.
Love it. So Carlito cuts a promo on Charlie Haas, forgetting who he was feuding with. He gets mad at Charlie Haas for hogging all of the women because he currently Miss Jackie, who ended up being Charlie Haas's wife.
His real-life wife.
Yeah, his real-life wife. Her and Dawn Marie are fighting for Charlie Haas's affection. So Carlito doesn't like that.
Imagine the most eligible and sought-after bachelor at SmackDown was Charlie Haas.
I love it. Like, it's so funny. Just this generic creator wrestler from
just
SmackDown
after Dawn Marie killed Tori Wilson's father.
Yep.
Through too much sex, she was like, I guess Charlie will have to be the next. Like,
yes.
She could have went on the storyline, serial killing through
she's
sexual
the
pleasure.
Black Widow, Dawn Marie. But, so Jesus and Lito jump Charlie Haas.
Yeah, they jump Charlie Haas. They beat the hell out of him.
They do. And according to Michael Cole, nothing but thug life tactics from Jesus.
Love it. Michael Cole, he's the expert on street fights and all that good stuff.
Right.
So if Michael Cole says it, has to be true.
Yeah, absolutely. So Teddy Long ends up talking to Jesus and Carlito backstage, and Teddy Long calls Jesus a thug. And Carlito denies it, despite the fact that last week Jesus said, a direct quote, "I'm a thug too."
So
I love Carlito.
Yeah, he's just denying it.
He sees the best of his associates. And
so they make the U.S. title street fight between Jesus and Cena for Armageddon, which is a great name for a pay-per-view. It should be back.
I know, I'm a big fan. And then The End Is Here by Jim Johnston.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
So good. We might have to, when we edit in the music at the beginning, might have to do The End Is Here.
Yes, it'll be in here somewhere. I don't know if it'll be the beginning or the end.
Yeah, eventually.
But, so then we get to the final big match feel for Jesus in the Street Fight Falls Count Anywhere U.S. title match.
Oh, before that, you forgot December 9th. Jesus fought Charlie Haas in a street fight. Because, we're feuding with Charlie Haas here.
I saw that was happening, and then I didn't watch it. So
not much happened. It actually wasn't bad. Jesus wore silver suspenders and teal pants.
I love how you made a note of everything that he wore.
I had to. Come on. You're going to have to post some of the looks that he was serving.
I literally, when I was watching it, the first thing I thought was that we're going to have like 10 pictures of this man and just how Jesus served looks in 2004.
I love it. So, anyway, Carlito got ejected from ringside, so he spat in Charles Robinson, the referee's face, just right in his face.
Charles Robinson, the best 40 time of any referee.
Yeah, please. We might post that just for shits and giggles. Charlie Haas actually hit Jesus really hard with a chair in the shoulder, which looked nasty. But it was distracted when Carlito came out and grabbed Dawn Marie. Oh, that's a great picture of Jesus.
They had promo pics made of this man, I guess, because it says WWE in his name.
Love that.
So we're going to find some good content about Jesus.
I want a Jesus action figure now.
I wish we could interview him. I don't know how to get somebody on the line. I probably could figure it out. We just have to
Skype call. Yeah,
we'd have to Skype call Jesus, but I don't know what he does now.
No. So. If anybody knows how to get a hold of Jesus, please get a hold of him for us. Thank you. So anyway, because Haas was distracted, Jesus just took a chain and punched Haas in the back of the head, knocked him out cold, which was great.
One of those thug life tactics.
It was. It was great, actually. Like, it was a good thing. I like matches that end in one move sometimes, occasionally, like really quick, just to do something different. But Anyway, we're going to Armageddon here, which is
Yes,
legendary. The legendary street fight between the two of them, the 5-star classic.
It was a 5-star squash match.
It was. I was entertained. Holy shit. So Cena debuts the spinner belt here.
He does, which is random as hell.
Yeah.
I didn't know that happened. He just comes out, and Michael Cole's like, it's got like a turntable on it.
Yeah. He sounded... Michael Cole, the coolest man alive, knows what the kids are thinking about.
I'm pretty sure that Vince McMahon told Michael Cole to be the whitest man possible when he got on the commentary.
Yep.
He's like, say it's like a top, he spins it.
Be like me, Michael Cole.
Look at that thing. It's a turntable. It's like a record player.
So, additionally, Cena had the Ruck Fools shirt.
Yes, that was also debuted that night.
Yeah, which was great. It means fuck rules for those of you who don't know.
But he had Ruck Fools. I remember that. My parents won't let me get that T-shirt.
Disappointing.
Yes.
Understandable.
As a 9-year-old, it wasn't acceptable.
It wasn't cool. Parents aren't cool, according to Carlito.
That's true.
Jesus, in his final appearance, was wearing yellow pants and suspenders. He was bringing them back, the canary yellow.
Great.
So Cena looked pissed immediately, and then a match occurred.
Somewhat.
There was a match that happened.
That's about the best way to describe it.
It happened. It was
Jesus,
what it was.
Jesus has like 4 offensive moves, I think, total, and 3 of them were punches.
Yep.
So, Cena just starts beating this man's ass. So
he's whipping his ass.
Yes, he's whipping his ass.
Shout out to our friend Shaka.
As our friend Shaka would say, yeah. So Cena's whipping this dude's ass. He swings a kendo stick about as hard as I've ever seen someone swing it.
Oh, he murder, death, killed that man.
He straight up hit this guy in the head so hard that he almost didn't have to blade in the match. He almost started bleeding, but Carlito was the one that threw the kendo stick in, and first Jesus had struck him in the kidney with it, but it just pissed Cena off.
And keep in mind now, for the first time, Cena actually has like a little band-aid on his kidney.
It's like a wound dressing. That's what it looks like. It's like they just grabbed it and shoved it on his back.
But he feels no pain in it. It's just the adrenaline.
No, yeah, he's got the adrenaline rush going, and he beats the shit out of him with his kendo stick. He goes near the crowd.
Amazing.
He takes a stiff-ass kick to the side of the head.
Oh, they replay it like 3 times because immediately, I think he'd bladed.
Yes.
He immediately started to bleed after the kick.
Oh, yeah. After the kick, he's bleeding not like super bad, but pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not on the level of Eddie Guerrero, Crimson Mask, or Cena in the I Quit match, because that was awful.
It's like a 0.5 on the Eddie scale.
Yeah. It's a decent little cut
play
there.
job, yeah.
So they're in the crowd. They're battling in the crowd. Cena had chased Carlito up the ramp.
He did.
So they start going in the crowd, and it looks like Cena might throw Jesus off.
He tried to throw him off the balcony.
The balcony to the lower row, which I thought was going to happen. Like I was like, oh, maybe they set up a table or something. He's going to have to him off, but it didn't happen.
They just teased it. Poor Jesus. Cena is laying in all of his punches too. Like they're not fake.
Oh yeah, they're legit.
Yeah, like you hear it.
So this is where Carlito saves him from being dumped over the balcony.
The baby face in this, really, Carlito.
So Carlito saves him with his one good arm, and this is where Jesus throws his 3 final punches of his WWE career. And they go back, and while Cena's in the crowd, at one point he also drank part of somebody's beer. They handed it to him, and he just downed it real quick.
The heel
which
John
was great.
Cena, that thug.
He drinks random people's beer in the audience and tries to kill people named Jesus. So
sad.
They go back into the ring, and then after that he grabs a trash can lid and a metal sign.
Oh my god, he murders him with that too. Like all of these, he just hits this poor man so hard. Like what did Jesus do to deserve this?
Maybe Jesus was like, lay it in there, man. We trained together.
Yeah.
They were both at UPW. I don't know. They might have had a classic UPW feud at one point.
I'm gonna have to look on YouTube to find some Aaron Aguilera matches.
I know that would be funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. He might actually be not bad. He just never got any offense.
He didn't really look that great though, throwing some of his strikes.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But who knows? Who knows?
He could be a superstar in all Japan. We just don't know.
Yeah.
But he takes the trash can lid and the metal cookie sheet that looked like it morphed around his head as he got hit. And then he takes the FU and is pinned, and That's all she wrote for Jesus.
Poor Jesus. His career was over. He was never used again.
Yeah, I think he went back to developmental for a while too. Like,
I think so.
He stayed around for a couple of years, but he never really did anything.
And then they cut him, and he went on.
After the match, Cena also hits Carlito with the chain, gets his chain back, takes his title, and walks off into the sunset.
Carlito becomes a janitor for a while afterwards.
Yeah, because he was hurt.
Yeah,
they wanted to keep him
Long.
on TV. Teddy Long said, I still know that you did this. He knows what he did last summer.
I still remember. He said on the note.
Yes. So Carlito then, he just kind of goes on to nurse his injury.
Damn.
Cena makes his ascension to WrestleMania 21.
Wins the WWE title. Carlito, he does well for WWE. He has a good stop and start pushes, but
he was a mainstay until like 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
So Carlito did have a successful career. He was in Glow.
He was.
Yeah, a couple times.
He still wrestles for his father's promotion in Puerto Rico. He makes a good living. I don't know if WWE... I hope they bring him back someday for like a Royal Rumble appearance or something.
NXT. He could show up.
That'd be cool. Like just for once or twice.
AEW.
Yeah, his brothers have been around for how long? Like I don't know why he seems like a guy TNA would have went after.
Yeah, it just never. Well, he had a bunch of wellness policy violations, but it was like for weed.
With weed, yeah. As Stephen A. Smith would say, "Stay off the weed." Duh.
You got to throw that in there at the end.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that a lot of people have likened this feud to, and that's the stabbing death of
Bruiser Brody. Oh my
which
god!
I never thought of because
I didn't either. Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, and people they kind of addressed this on Bruce Pritchard's show. Conrad did about that Bruiser Brody was killed at a event that Carlito's father was the promoter.
Well, and Carlito's father, I want to say, was affiliated with the Invader #1, Jose Gonzalez, who was the one who killed Brody.
Yes.
I don't remember if he helped him.
I don't know the whole situation, but a lot of people were saying that this may have been something to liken back to that.
Oh, God.
And I don't know.
That.
And Bruce Pritchard pretty much said they were like, we didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Like, it was just some way to get them. But a lot of people online have said that.
I didn't
before,
even think about that.
I never thought about it before, but I guess, like...
I could see
how people draw comparisons just because that's his dad's promotion.
Right.
But it wasn't Carlito anyways. It was Jesus, so...
Jesus.
It was his associate, which is kind of what maybe would have happened with Brody. We don't even know.
So do we think that Jesus was the one that committed the stabbing? Or was it just a random patron of the nightclub that Cena pissed off?
Yeah, it could have been Eminem.
Oh,
because that sign said so.
Eminem.
Yeah, so 16 years later, the case is still open.
It is.
Supposedly, because they've never confirmed that Jesus was the one that stabbed him.
If anybody knows who stabbed John Cena,
was it JBL? Because he saw the rise that was coming. He sent Orlando Jordan in there.
They should have. Oh my God! They should have went straight to that. They should have did it.
So I would say Jesus stabbed him.
Yeah, 100%.
But the case has never technically been closed.
Yeah. So the real question is, did you like this storyline?
It was unique. I'll give it that. It was a good way to get him off TV, I guess.
Yeah.
It was a good excuse.
It was interesting.
I think they should have done some kind of like fake security footage,
right,
or something, instead of just being like he was stabbed.
Right.
That was what I've seen a lot of the criticism.
I wish it would have been longer. Honestly, I didn't really have. I went into it thinking I dreaded this. It took me a long time to actually sit down and watch this. It wasn't as bad as I expected. I wish they would have went a little further in, like you said, maybe. Have some security footage, maybe do a little bit of a whodunit, who stabbed Cena, and you bring him back even more so than just Carlito doing it. Like, you imply that it's Carlito, but, like, everybody's a suspect.
Yeah, and they could have made one of these random chopper characters into the PI.
True.
Like, Shannon Moore could have showed up and been like, or Charlie Haas.
Right. Oh, see, we could have mixed storylines, him
there
and
we go.
his multiple women.
Could have been the ones that stabbed Cena.
You never know.
Could have been New Jack, which we didn't cover.
Oh my God! It could have been New Jack.
There was rumors that New Jack at the time was supposed to come in and be the man that stabbed John Cena, but I believe that he just believes that.
Could you imagine if
that would be bad? Because then Cena would have really probably been stabbed.
Yeah.
Because New Jack I don't know. I don't know what he is.
New Jack is a former bounty hunter with 4 confirmed kills. This is real. They were all in self-defense. Don't worry.
But he also stabbed a man in the middle of a match.
He did stab a
Legit.
man. He almost cut the top of his head off. And he became a wrestler who is a great promo, by the way. An extremely violent wrestler who uses a lot of weapons. He walks out to Natural Born Killers by Dr. Dre, and he would wrestle with the music playing the entire match, which is fantastic.
Great gimmick. He was an ECW guy.
Not a great wrestler, but he was entertaining.
Perfect deathmatch wrestler.
He is. He was entertaining.
A legit badass. I
Yeah.
mean, he's killed 4 people, I guess.
He threw a man off he fell off a scaffold and went blind in one eye. Because one of the guys, they didn't control it. Both of them went off the scaffold. So I think he threw a guy off a scaffold for real as a response. So like, imagine them trying to sign New Jack and bring him in to wrestle their next top babyface after all of this.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see it.
I don't believe that
No.
ever was discussed.
I'd love to see it though.
But yeah, that was another one of the rumors. So between the Bruiser Brody parallels supposedly that are there and the New Jack rumors, this storyline could have turned out a lot worse, I think.
It's true.
So yeah, I didn't really mind it. I think the Concrete Crypt, the Eddie Guerrero storyline was great.
Yeah,
Actually,
it was.
I like that. But the first 2 that we covered were worse than this.
I agree,
would,
100%.
I would take it. So, not the worst thing I've ever seen.
No, it's not, and I think it's outlandish, but it could have worked a little bit more if they would have put a little bit more into it. I think it could have been even more memorable.
And it's something that a lot of TV shows do, like the whodunit stuff, which they could have went that way, or
everybody loves a good mystery.
Yes, it is. It's true. They could have. So it's not the most unrealistic thing.
It's worth
either.
watching.
So yeah, it's worth watching. Yeah, if you want to go back, I'm throwing around some ideas of putting a WordPress together and putting what we watched. So if anybody wanted to go back and see it, not really the notes or anything, but just
timeline.
the timeline.
I like that.
This started on October 7th, SmackDown, and finished at the 04 Armageddon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could have went farther, which I guess was the original plan because Carlito got hurt.
Damn it, Carlito's shoulder! How dare you?
But overall, not too bad.
No, it was a nice watch.
I'll give it a 5 on the ridiculous factor.
The in-ring portions weren't great, but the storyline itself was nice. So yeah, 5 out of 10, not bad. Not 4 out of 10, not impressed.
No, it was somewhat a little impressed.
Yeah.
There was little parts there.
After Hours Club was enough.
Yeah, and the looks that were being served by everybody on SmackDown.
God.
In that one segment in general, plus Jesus. But next week, we are in 2020.
We're going to have this new year, new us, new decade, new us, and we're going back to something at the beginning of last decade. Something that is new. We're done with the SmackDown story arc for now. We got a new one.
We went 4 episodes into SmackDown. We're not really doing seasons or arcs completely, but that was a little mini arc that just kind of happened. And now we are moving towards some TNA.
Oh, yes.
Which we're going back 10 years ago, almost. It's like 10 years in a week by the time the episode comes out.
Yeah, it's almost to the day. Right now, this is January 6th when we're filming it.
So, it's almost right to the day where
Holy
TNA
shit.
decided that they would move to Monday and bring in the immortal Hulk Hogan.
Yes, I am so excited.
And about 13 other wrestlers at the same time.
I am so excited for this. You don't even know.
So, we're going to take a look at what the fuck happened when TNA, the first impact that Hogan was there.
Yeah, and then the January 4th, it's infamous, and we have a few pay-per-views that we're going to do out of this, too. I believe the 4 that we discussed were Genesis, which happens right after.
Yeah, we're going to do our first show review of Genesis 2010.
We're going to look at Lockdown, which was...
A lot of these early Hogan TNA run pay-per-views.
And then we're going to look to do a Hardcore Justice, which should be fun, and Bound for Glory to end it. And then we'll go on from there. But Bound for Glory is where they appear. We weren't ready for they.
No. And then the second they, neither was TNA, but that'll be some other time.
Yes.
But we will be covering the January... That's the one you're not going to want to miss.
Oh,
You're going to want to listen to this.
So
because
ready.
January 4th TNA is just... There's so much fucking shit that happens on that show. And not shit as in, bad. A lot of it was bad, but there's a lot of things to cover there.
Oh, I'm ready.
So next week we will have the January 4th, 2010 TNA Impact, the debut of Hulk Hogan.
I'm ready. Ready for this.
Until then, this was episode 4. Follow us on social media. Stranger Rings Pod on Instagram. We will hopefully shortly be getting more social media. But for now, follow us on Instagram.
Hell yeah.
So, you think you're untouchable? Word life. This is basic thugonomics. This is basic thugonomics. Word life. I'm untouchable, but I'm forcing you to feel me. Word life. This is basic thugonomics. Word life. I'm untouchable, but I'm forcing you to feel me. Whether fighting or spitting, my discipline is unforgiving. Got you backing up in a defensive position. An ass-kicking anthem. Heavyweight or bantam, holding camp for ransom. The microphone phantom. Teams hit the floor, it's the new fight joint. Like a broken needle, kid, you missing a point. We dominate your conference with offense that's no nonsense. My team song hits, get your reinforcements.